This, my dear students, is how you draw a furry headshot. Any questions? Today, I'm going to teach you how to draw Anthro bodies. My method is very basic, hence the name of this series, but I'm also going to share a lot of tips for drawing the actual furry aspects of this art. So I invite you to watch this even if you're not a beginner. Let's go! So we've got this guy, remember him? I'm sure he'd very much appreciate a body of his own. First, we're going to give him a neck. When I'm about to draw a neck of a canine species or alike, I normally think of like this diamond shape. I normally start where the original circle guideline starts, and then draw my second line where the muzzle starts. And like I said, you draw a diamond shape with a more sloping side in the direction that the character is facing. Now it's a floating head with a neck. Normally it is quite intuitive, like I'd say you wouldn't be drawing a massive wide neck and see nothing wrong with it. In my opinion, drawing the neck has a lot of wiggle room depending on how fluffy you make it. Like it doesn't even look wrong if it's super wide or super thin, because you're gonna add fur anyway, but that comes later. Then I draw the shoulders, about from the place where the diamond shape starts pointing inwards. And then I draw these two almost parallel lines to draw the torso. I don't know, don't kill me. I genuinely just draw it like that. There's no rocket science behind it. See, this is what I said. I don't even know how to explain this because it's so basic. It's gonna be fluffy anyway, but if you really need more detail, I recommend that you find a different tutorial. But wait until I show you all the furry stuff. Also, we've got tiramisu in the back. Fast forward to where I just magically drew the arms. The only thing you actually have to keep in mind when drawing arms is that you don't want them to be too long or too short. Like say you want to draw your character waving, you kind of want to verify that if they were to then put their hand down, that you didn't just accidentally give them Slenderman arms. And if you draw on paper, you're just gonna have to use your mind's eye. Or, you know, a fucking compass or something. Also, if you're into that kind of art style, you can add thicker forearms. They're really cute. Okay, now we get to the paws bit, and brother, there are so many ways you can draw them. Honestly, what I usually do in my art style is draw my lovely little sausage finger hands and then add beans and claws and paw pads. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw something a little bit more classic, if you could say. The reason why I say this is because it reminds me of fursuit paws. As you can see, it's almost like a human hand, but with more stubby and white fingers. And I don't know if it's bad that I like to start with the fingers, but it's what I find most comfortable. Like I said, the fingers are nice and stubby, so no matter the angle, unless it's face on, they're going to overlap a little bit, which arguably is kind of easier. Depends on how you position them. The roundness of a furry paw makes it a little bit more tangible to draw than, you know, those tiny little bony hands that humans have. But again, that might be my own personal preference, you never know. With hands in particular, I will encourage you strongly to use references. They're not a sign of weakness, they're not there to make you dependent, it's actually to do the opposite. It's going to help you gain independence. Hands sometimes are very unpredictable, like genuinely, you are going to be surprised. I've had so many times that I wanted to draw a hand, attempted, it looked wrong, I look up a reference, it looks completely different to what I was imagining, even though I had the same idea. Dude, I hate hands so much. So I used the reference to help me, and by the time I was finished, I've learned, and I don't need the reference anymore. Now that we have the basic paw shape down, I'm going to give you a couple more pointers on how I actually draw the paw details, mainly giving attention to the beans and claws. For each paw pad, it's basically just oval shapes at the top of each finger, and if you're after a bit more realistic or detailed look, you can make them point inwards like so. Then, for what according to Google is called the metacarpal pad, think of this 3-leaf clover shape. One leaf at the top in the curvature of the beans, and then the second and the third at the bottom. And now for the claws. An optional addition but still quite popular. It's important to realize that the position of the claws on an Anthro character is going to be quite similar to that of a human, meaning that rather than the claws just randomly extending from the middle of the fingers, they're actually going to grow from the same region as human fingernails. The shape of the claw itself is kind of like a kite when viewed straight on, but that's only a tip for if you're actually going to go into super big detail. If you're making a smaller toony drawing, you're going to get away with just drawing little lines instead of actual claw shapes. Actually, another method is where you incorporate the shape of the claw into the shape of your finger. So basically you just draw this triangle where the claw sticks out from the finger, and then, you know, erase that bit of the finger that it's covering, and I don't know, it just looks really cool. It is also a very common style when, you know, you like draw your mouth and incorporate the shape of the teeth into the curvature of the lips. Again, I just think it's awesome. You can try it or you don't. I've done it a few times before in my art style. For the hips, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, it really depends on the character's body type and the angle that it's facing you, so I cannot give as much advice without going into the bone structure and fundamental anatomy, so you're just gonna have to infer, and I promise you, you probably will get it right enough. Honestly, I feel like the hips in my art style are just like a connection to the thighs, but you can make them more pronounced as well. Again, it also depends on the character. Now, speaking of the thighs, same logic applies really. I mean, I can't really tell you how to draw thighs without going into all the muscle structure, so I'm just gonna tell you, yeah, draw these two little almost parallel lines with a slight curve in them, and you're good to go. Oh, and also position them in any way you please. Now, one bit that I can give you advice on are the Digi Legs, or however you say it. I'm actually not quite sure how you say it. Low-key, I'm not even sure if that's what they're called, but I can show you. It's these things, okay? Yeah, alright, okay. So we're on the same page. The way I go about this in my head and also the way I just put it down and think about it on paper is that I kind of just forget about the calf situation and I just kind of go straight to drawing the feet. Because as you know, the last little bit of the leg is basically just one long foot. I am probably getting my anatomy so wrong right now, but please don't come after me. This is just the way I think about it. As you can see, the leg of an anthropomorphic animal is kind of like this S shape, or you know, that classic lightning strike shape. Whatever you want to call it, you have to realize that these two parts are parallel, the thigh and the foot, and this is what's gonna help you immensely right now. No matter how your character is standing, it is most likely that the thigh and the foot are going to be parallel with each other at all points, and also no matter the angle of the character facing. So all you gotta do is keep that parallel idea in mind, and position the foot a reasonable amount from the thigh, just a little bit below. I'll show you right now. So for example, if the character was viewing you straight on, the feet are going to be directly underneath the thighs. However, if your character is facing a little bit to the side, then given that the foot is slightly behind the thigh, all you have to do is shift it a little bit to the side and boom, it's going to look fine. Perspective master. Now you can connect it to with the remaining part, you know, that bone that's in the middle, and you have got yourself the leg base. So the part of the foot that we have been focusing on for the last minute is, like I said, the foot. But there's also the bit with the paw pads that, you know, make contact with the ground. Let's have a look at that. I kind of think of this as a concave down semisphere and just call it a day. I don't get too concerned about the anatomy because, I don't draw feet that much. But what I do is then I split the said paw into the actual individual toes, I guess? Just with those, you know, vertical lines, boom, 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 boom. And then I draw those little curvatures inside, you know, each slit that I just created to actually show that those toes are separated and not fused together. And lastly, like I said before, claws. You can add them, you can not add them. I get away with drawing them as little lines. If you want, you can also include this little kite shape that looks really fab if you have that kind of style. I place them around halfway up the toes. Please, oh god, please do not put them at the very bottom. It is not how it works. Now we're practically almost done. Now we just need to draw a tail. Tails come in many shapes and sizes, and I can't really tell you a clear way to draw every single one. In this example, I'm drawing an oversized foxtail with the help of a line to direct its shape, and then tracing around it with a slimmer end at the base, wider in the middle, and then slimming back down in the end. But like I said, all tails are different, and a nice reference image will be your best friend. And that's pretty much the entire shape of an anthro body done. So technically, if you're like a scaly or not interested in drawing fur, you're done here. If you are gonna draw fur, you're in for another ride. Okay, first and foremost, please, oh god, please, please, please do not just draw the fur directly onto the character, like random as zigzags in the middle of their chest. Like, I'm sorry, but no, it does not look normal. Just a bald ass furry with random markings. What you should always start with is drawing the fur directly into the silhouette of the character, similarly to what I've done with the claws earlier. The fur is mainly going to stick out and make itself noticeable in places that have sharp edges, and not really show itself in places that are smooth. With this knowledge, you can go ahead and put little fur tufts anywhere you deem suitable. Common places to put fur are on the neck, shoulders, elbows, crotch, legs, the list goes on, but let's not forget extra fluff on the tail as well. And this, ladies and gents and whatever the fuck, is us done. I hope you found this video helpful and was able to learn something new, or at least had one of those moments where you can just sit back and admire your art like, it may not look great, but I actually made it with my own hands, something those big AI companies didn't want me to believe I could do. Also, if you're new to this series, I have a video on how to draw furry headshot like I mentioned briefly in the beginning, so if you'd like to check that out, it's gonna be on the screen right now. And lastly, if you made it this far and would like to see a fursuit unboxing video, let me know because that may or may not be happening in a month or two. I know, exciting. I'll see you then.